Really nice to see you. I am happy to welcome you all tonight. And thank you for making some time to spend with me. I just wonder, kind of by a show of hands, how many of you are feeling a little bit of the weight of what's going on in the world? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of been shocking to me. I spent some time today. I do a business mastermind with a bunch of ministers, and I spent some time with them today, kind of talking through what it feels like to be in the world right now and the challenge of all of the violence and the hostility that we're experiencing. And then I went downtown to the office and I spent some time with people down there, and we talked a little bit more about the fact that we're recovering from COVID too. You know, even though it's been, better than a year, we're starting to see it heat up in some places. I know some people here have experienced it recently. And we have there's an impact of all of that, isn't there? There's an impact on us when we actually confront this kind of anxiety that's inside of us. So as I was talking to people today, lots of things came up about it. Some people who were carrying a lot of anxiety about whether we're going into World War III, and some people who just were feeling really helpless and unable to address the bigger problems going on in the world. Like they just had to watch it because they can't get away from it. It's on the news, it's in the papers, their friends are talking about it, it's all around them. So they can't really, unless they just completely isolate themselves, which then throws them a little bit into that kind of COVID relapse feeling about what happened to all of us when we were in isolation. And people who were experiencing anger were actually feeling angry and not at this point really sure why they were angry until we started talking about it. So I just want to put that into the room today. I want to reach out to all of you. And first of all, let's just remember as we look across the screen and we see each other, let's remember that this is just energy between us, right? This interesting vehicle that we have for communicating just allows the energy of who we are to be in the same space at the same time. And since science has already taught us that we are basically energy in motion, then this is as connected as we could be if we were in the same room. The only difference is we don't have physical touch. But emotionally and spiritually, we're connected with each other in a profound way, even through this forum. And so I just want to invite you, because tonight we're talking about energy healing and how we use the energy of our being. So I want to just invite you to take a minute and look at every one of these little boxes across the screen. Just take a minute to notice there are names here. Take a minute to notice there are smiles here. Take a minute to notice that we are in real space with real people. And allow yourself, for this brief time that we have together, to be connected to this community, to really allow your heart to open in this very safe space. It doesn't get a lot safer than this, does it? We are very safe right now, is safe in our own homes, and also safe enough that we're willing to invite each other into our homes. Like, you are in my dining room right now. You are upstairs in the room that Mark is in. If you have not met Mark, and I haven't introduced you to my amazing sweetheart, who is also my kind of co-host, facilitator, manager of this space while I'm teaching. The room that he's in is what we call our magic room. It's our sacred room. It's where we meditate. It's where we do ceremony. It's our sacred space. So we are literally right now like bringing you into the holiest of holy in our home. And wherever you are is the holiest of holy in your space. So here we are together, sharing space with one another. Maybe you have a cup of coffee or a glass of water or something handy. And this is an intimate time. So I want to again thank you for being here. I want to acknowledge that there's a lot going on in the world. And when I decided to talk about energy healing tonight, it was really kind of just a hit. You know, sometimes you just think to yourself or feel into what should I talk about tonight, and something pops in. And that's really what this was. It was just the pop in. Okay, I think we're going to work on energy healing. So it's interesting to me to kind of pop into that on the heels of the conversations I've had today, because it helps me to recognize how much we really need to talk about the energy that we carry. So remember that this is a quick lesson. It's designed to be that. It's a pop in together on Wednesday to jump into a sacred space, have a little time together, do a little meditating, and move back into our lives. So I'm going to jump right in and remind you of a few things that many of you will already know. One of those things is that energy is a real thing. Science has defined energy for us. And we think of it a lot of times, we'll say, oh, you know, I'm sending you good vibes, or that guy's got really bad vibes, or that place, wow, that place sucked the energy right out of me. Or I went and did this thing and it really energized me, right? So we have a language of energy in our life, but we don't always think about what we mean when we say that. So one of the interesting things that's come to me recently, and it came through a teacher named Greg Braden, who I really, really like, a scientist and brilliant teacher. And one of the things that he teaches and shares is that science says that every one of our cells, and we have somewhere between 50 and 70 trillion cells in our body, that every one of the cells in our body has 0.07 volts of electrical potential, which is not very much. That 0.07 until you multiply it by 50 trillion. And then I wrote down the number 3.5 trillion volts of electrical potential. 3.5 trillion volts of electrical potential when you combine the electrical potential that just is our body, which is fascinating to me. Like, how come I think I should be glowing, don't you? Like, I think I should be glowing. Who needs light bulbs at that much voltage in my body? I ought to be glowing. However that works, there is real energy. Some people call it chi, some people call it prana, some people call it good vibes, but there is real energy in this body. And most of us know that, even though we can't quantify it. We don't think about the fact that everything around us that has cells in it also has voltage. So every plant, every blade of grass, every insect, every animal, every other person, the air around us, everything is energy in motion. So sometimes when our body feels depleted, we forget that we're surrounded by energy we can call on, that there is literally energy at our fingertips available to us. And when we think about the things that are happening in the world right now, that's really important to know. But if you need more reassurance, keep this in mind. In our mainstream hospitals right now, you will find acupuncture. Acupuncture is an energy medicine that puts needles or pressure at meridian points, at special points, energy points in the body, to tell the body to use its energy in a certain way. We have Reiki being shared in our hospitals right now. Reiki is the use of an attunement of energy, a particular flavor or kind of energy that can be applied to the body to stimulate the body's natural responses. We have reflexology being used in hospitals right now, which again says one part of the body is holographically like other parts of the body, and we can use a point on the body, a single point, to affect an organ, to affect a system, to affect the bones in our body, to adjust what's going on with our spine. So in addition to that, we have lots of research information out there by people like Masaru Emoto, who taught us about how we use energy and our thoughts with water, and was able to demonstrate how our thoughts change the molecular structure of water. And this body is somewhere between 70 and who knows how much more water. Seems like every time I read that figure, it changed. Maybe we're 70% water, maybe we're 95% water. We are a lot of water, big bag of water. That's us, right? Big bag of water. So if what we think about water out there is affected by what we think, then doesn't it make sense that what happens to the water in our body is affected every day by what we think? So I tell you all of this because when we talk about energy healing, it's in a lot of ways, energy healing feels like it's hard to measure. And we want to over spiritualize it. And you all know me well enough to know that if I can over spiritualize anything, I'm going to do it. But right now, I want to first say this is a very practical process. I watched a video today of a group in China working on a woman with a tumor. And they had two practitioners behind her who were working on reducing the tumor till it disappeared. And they actually did this work with a what do you call it, ultrasound scan, so that you could see it, and they recorded it. And I watched it. And in 3 minutes, they measurably reduced this tumor by having practitioners hold the energy that this woman was in perfect health. And there was a lot of conversation about the fact that sometimes we have to do this for each other because we can't believe it strongly enough for ourselves. But it's pretty powerful to consider what is possible in the world of energy healing. It's pretty amazing to think about all the different ways that we can apply this. So we can apply energy healing by our thought. We can collect information and we can use our words. In this particular exercise that I was just telling you about, the practitioner stood behind this woman and they chanted a certain set of words in Chinese, so I couldn't understand them. But what the narrator said was that the words simply spoke to the overall health of this woman. And they allowed themselves then to go from thinking about it to feeling that wholeness and that overall health. And then dropped even deeper into the body to allow the body to move with the chant. So now we have movement, or the generation of energy, which happens when we move our body, right? We generate energy, we get hot, we get sweaty, our body feels energized. That's exactly what we say, isn't it? When we move our body, I went hiking and I feel energized, or I hiked too long and I'm exhausted. I used all the energy I have. But the body in motion will create energy. And then, of course, we understand that the spirit, the interconnected energy force between all of us, is an energy field. And that if we look at science and we reduce things to the smallest picture we can magnify, to the smallest place we can go, we end up with energy. That everything around us, everything that is us, is energy. So why is this important? Beyond the fact that we can use this energy for our own self-healing, this is important because we started tonight talking about the condition of the world. talking about the anxiety that we might be feeling, talking about the horror that we might be feeling at what we're seeing in headlines and the photographs that we're looking at, and the understanding we have about the violence and the brutality going on in the world. It's really easy to sit back and assume that we can do nothing about it, when in fact we can decide what we're going to do with the energy we are. Because in the field of oneness, in the field of all energy, if we can reduce everything to the smallest field that we can observe, we know that it's energy. Science tells us that. There's no woo-woo about that. We know that's true. So if that's true, and everything that we know is a field of energy, and we change the state of our energy, then we change the state of all energy, right? So what I want to suggest to you tonight is that we can adjust our state of being, and as we do that, we are able to adjust the state of the world. What I want to suggest is that we can use our time tonight to bring peace to our body, to bring peace to the wholeness of this community, and then to spread the energy of peace out into the universal field. And I'd like to do that in our meditative space, if you would be willing. And with no direction, no definition of who this goes to. We are not here to decide who's right, who's wrong. What we're here to do is create a universal state, because we have things going on all over the world, don't we? I mean, do you think that the people in Maui still need peaceful energy? Yeah. Right? There are big skirmishes going on in South Sudan right now. There are all the things in the news that we're aware of. And people are trying to figure out what to do with the anxiety that's in their natural body, because they're naturally connected to all of that. So we are an intimate group and a powerful group, because we can create something that is a touch point for people. And an example of that would be when the first 4 mile minute was run. So nobody had recorded running the 4 mile minute. Maybe it happened before, but the world was not aware of it. And what happened once the world was aware of it? Once the world was aware of it, then more people began running the 4 minute mile, didn't they? So when we broadcast energy out into the world, we are all aware of it. And as we are aware of it, we broadcast that message out through our family, through our friends, through anybody that we have a chance to talk to who's feeling anxious. Anytime we use the same simple meditation we're going to use to help somebody else bring themselves back to peace. And we want them to bring themselves to peace, because what happens in your brain when you are in anxiety is that you slide back to the reptilian brain, don't you? We slide back into that space that doesn't think very clearly. So I want to invite you to close your eyes. You can stay on screen or off screen. It's completely up to you. And as we are in this sacred space together, I want to remind you that you are safe. First and foremost, wherever you are in your home. You are in a safe, sweet space that you have created for yourself. And in this right now, present moment, everything around you is safe. So you can close your eyes and you can allow your attention to turn inward. Allow yourself to just notice what it feels like to allow your attention to be in your body. Allow yourself to be comfortable in your chair or on your couch, wherever your body is. Notice your feet on the ground. If you're not comfortable, go ahead and adjust so that you feel comfortable. In this space and time with one another, there are no limitations. There is nothing to limit the power of what we know. Allow yourself to be in that limitless, holy place. That place where we are beyond this body, where we are beyond any of the singular aspects of ourselves. We are not just mind, yet we are mind. We are not just body, and yet we are body. We are not just feelings, and yet we are rich with feeling. We are not just spirit, and yet we are all that is spirit, all that is energy. Just be with you right now in this moment. Truly with you, offering thanks for the you that you are. Being fully present to the glorious, amazing, brilliant spirit that you are. To the gifts that you bring in the world. Give yourself a moment to consider that you touch lives. We touch lives. We touch them through our work. We touch them through our play. We touch them through our vulnerability. And we touch them through our strength. We are indeed brilliant points of light. Imagine that you are your own beloved friend. And let that bring a smile to your face. Let yourself know how truly blessed you are to be you. Now imagine that you could make a difference, that you could call in not only the energy of who you are, but the energy of this community, connecting heart to heart, mind to mind, spirit to spirit, thinking of all the energy that exists in every cell, and allow your focus to go to your heart space. And there you may see or sense or feel or just know there is a pinpoint of light, a growing place of light where the energy of you and all connected to you comes together in a visible way so that you can see and sense and know the power of the energy within you and all around you. And allow that light to pulse with the movement and vibration and frequency of wholeness. It may pulse to the rhythm of your heart. It may pulse at a faster frequency, but notice that it has its own rhythm. And notice as you connect with the life around you, all life around you, that rhythm becomes stronger, that pulse becomes stronger. Notice that light expands throughout your body, pulsing and healing whatever in you needs healing, forcing out and beyond your skin anything that doesn't exist, doesn't serve you in your body, allowing that to move beyond you in its energetic form, healing your heart, putting rest to anxiety and worry, clearing your mind of those things that don't need to be there anymore. Know that first you are healed, that you are brought to wholeness, And all that your body, your wise, brilliant body needs to know to heal is available to it in that light. And allow the energy of that light to pulse through you. And as it moves through you, from head to toe, from fingertip to fingertip, notice that you do begin to glow. It's a transparent glow. It's that glow that you notice around someone when there's something special going on with them. It's not about what we perceive as light with our eyes, but what we know as the energy that moves beyond us as light. And we use light because that energy moves fast. It goes where it needs to go. So notice that that light moves beyond your body, that as it moves beyond your body and extends outward, it has a mind of its own. It goes where it needs to go amongst this community, where extra energy is needed for healing. That light moves where it needs to go. Allow yourself to receive whatever comes to you, whatever more is needed. It goes beyond this community, out into those we know and love. Wherever light is needed, it's called. That energy moves beyond us. There is energy in the entirety of humanity, in the entirety of life, moving through us as us. It's not just your energy, it's all energy. As that pulse goes forward, we connect to the pulse of life. We awaken and enliven the pulse of life, the life force. And we will it, and we pray, and we hold that it moves beyond us and out to all the places that it's needed in a limitless way, because this source is beyond what our body creates, or our mind or our imagination creates. It is the life force from which we come. Allow that energy to move fully out into the world and see and sense and feel and know that it travels to the hearts of all of those who need it. Wherever they are, whatever they're doing. And as that energy moves, notice a sense of peace. A sense of peace that fills your heart. A sense of peace that lives in your body. A sense of peace amongst all of us in this community, and a sense of peace moving out into the world, broadcast in a beautiful way out into the world, that all who need peace may find it now. That they might miraculously, because we know miracles happen, that they might miraculously feel a sense of peace without having any idea where it came from or why it's there for them. And as we send that peace out, broadcasting wider and wider, we give direction to this light, this energy, this healing force to travel as far and as wide as it needs to go, to all the hearts that need it, to all the souls looking for peace and comfort and compassion. Take a deep breath in and release this energy to do its good work in the world as you exhale. Take a deep breath in and release. Take another deep breath in and release. Bring your hands to your heart, noticing that you are at peace, noticing that your body is at ease, remembering that you are limitless, that you are the living energy of the holy in all that you do. And as you recognize the true brilliance of who you are, gently open your eyes and come back to this space. So this sharing, this reminding people that there is something we can do is important. It's valuable in the world right now because the people around you are touched in many different ways. Not only are you touched, if you've been in the military, you're touched. If you are the mother of children or the father of children, you're touched. If you have relatives, friends and family, people you know, if you have traveled to these areas, there are so many ways that we are touched by the world around us. So what can you do when you meet with someone who is struggling? You can remind them that they're affected. You can help them feel safe first. In this moment, right here and now, we're safe. Let's do peace together. Let's notice the peace that we are. Let's breathe peace into our own bodies. Let's breathe peace out to the people we know. Let's breathe peace out into the world. Let's remember we are peace. We are healing. We are love. We are peace. It's a relatively easy exercise, and yet so immensely powerful, because we know all the things we learned at the beginning, right? All the things we already know. Energy works. We already know energy heals. We already know we're connected to all things. Science tells us all of that. So in the moments that you are tempted to think that this centering activity is not as powerful as it is, call me. I'll remind you. I'll remind you of all the reasons it is immensely powerful and healing and earth centering to do what we just did. I am so blessed to spend this time with you. I just love you. I love seeing your faces here. I love having this time with you. I am grateful for you. I'm grateful to my sweetheart for helping me hold this space. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great evening.